Hi viewers, my name is Lilian Ngandu and I am here to talk about my battle with dystonia. When I was young in primary school, I did not like the idea of writing. And this is simply because when writing, I could get tired very quickly. I could have fatigue. And this continued even after joining my high school. In high school, there was a lot of writing done. And sometimes when the teacher is dictating notes, I could not catch up because of speed. And so what I could do is I could skip some writing sessions, and after the teacher has finished dictating his or her notes, I could borrow exercise books from my friends later to copy what I did not copy. And for sure, I had a very hard time. I did my Form 4 exams, the O-level exams, and by God's grace, I did fairly good. And then I went back to the village to stay with my parents, who had a shop. He had a business of a retail shop and a wholesale shop. So I started helping them in selling, but the condition of my hand deteriorated such that I found difficulties writing receipts for customers, and my parents noticed. So they decided to take me to a hospital to see a certain doctor. When I went there, he gave me some drugs, and when I started using those drugs, my body started swelling. And this is when I went back to hospital, and this time I went to another hospital. The doctor there treated me and advised me to stop using those drugs. So I got well, but the condition of my hand was still not good. I stayed with my parents, struggling to help them for 3 years. After those 3 years, I was admitted to a certain teachers college, and I went, but I was not sure whether I would make it in college. I did not have confidence, but I went. We started learning in college, and my handwriting had become so poor, and my college mates could see that I have a problem in writing, and they helped me to write notes. When we went for teaching practice, I discovered that I did not have a problem writing on the blackboard. I thanked God for that. I continued learning in college, and I started learning to use my left hand. I had a very hard time, and this would make me cry a lot in the morning, especially when praying. We did exams, college exams, and again, by God's grace, I passed. After that, I got a job. I was still struggling to write, and this time, I also got married to a husband who was working in a company where they had a medical cover. And my husband told me I should go to one of the best hospitals and see a doctor because of that problem. So I went. I saw the general doctor, and that doctor recommended that I see a neurologist. And so I went to see the neurologist, who examined me and advised that I have MRI brain scan. He also did very many other tests. When I went back for results, he sat me down and explained to me that I had task-specific dystonia. And what surprised me is that he told me that dystonia does not have a cure. What there is management with a certain injection called Botox. And he told me that this Botox injection is administered every 4 months for life. So I had no option. I told him I'll start the injection. So I was given an appointment to start the injection. So that day when I went to start, I went in the morning, and the doctor asked me 2 questions. One, whether I was accompanied. I told him no. The other one, he asked me whether I had eaten. I told him I had taken breakfast. He told me that this injection is very strong, so I need to eat. So I walked out of the clinic, went and looked for a cave that I can eat, but I did not get one. But in the compound, in the hospital compound, there was a restaurant. So I went there. I took the menu, and I found the cheapest food there was 700 shillings, and it was of chips. So I ordered. I ate, but it was very little. I ate, and then I went back to the doctor, and the doctor started doing the procedure. When he started, I lost consciousness, and after I regained consciousness, he finished injecting me, and then I went home. After getting home, I decided to write to see whether there is improvement, and I discovered there was very little improvement. And when I remembered how I lost consciousness, how I fainted, I said I'll not go back for another injection. So I continued with my survival tactics, and I became very much concerned. I decided to learn more about dystonia, and I thought the best thing was to go to an institution which deals with the disabilities. I joined the institution so that I can learn about disabilities as well as dystonia. I joined Kenya Institute of Special Education, and we started learning. We learned about many disabilities, but we did not learn about dystonia. And I tried to find out why we could not learn about dystonia. I discovered that they focused mostly on disabilities that affect school-going children or students. I was doing an inclusive course. I finished the course, and by God's grace again, I passed. And then I continued to think about how I could learn about dystonia. That time, we did not have these phones where one could Google. And if you were lucky enough, you could only Google using a computer. But later, because of the advancement of technology, I got a phone when Google. That is when I learned a lot about dystonia. And what I learned is that dystonia is a neurological disorder where the muscles twist and it resembles tremor. The muscles get involuntary movement, and there are many types of dystonias. Like now the one I have is called task-specific dystonia or writer's cramp. The other type affects other parts of the body. Like we have dystonia that affects the eyelids, which causes permanent closure of eyes. There is dystonia that affects the face, which makes even the mouth to be displaced. There is the dystonia that affects the neck, which makes someone to face another direction. There is dystonia that affects more than one part of the body, even the leg. There are very many types of dystonia. And again, I learned that dystonia can be a symptom of a certain disease, especially most of the neurological disorders, they have dystonia as a symptom. For example, Parkinson's disease and many others, they have dystonia as a symptom. Cerebral palsy, autism, and the like. And this one led me into starting an organization by name Anti-Dystonia Local Organization. And I started it because of the passion that I have to ensure that there is cure for dystonia. And so I partner with other organizations that are looking for cure. I also partner with organizations which are doing research on how many people that are affected by dystonia. I also found it important to do networking with those people who have dystonia so that through our platform we can share experiences and survival tactics. And there is also issue of the Botox drug because it is very expensive. That time when I was taking the injection, it cost 40,000 Kenya shillings per dose. And the doctor told me that you don't use all of it. But because I'm just alone, the remaining is just disposed. So he told me that if there were 2 or 3 people who would have liked to use it, we would have shared the cost. So that is why networking is important, so that they can share cost. Those who could be using that Botox. And again, we find that this disease, when it affects someone, some people get into depression because you realize that it affects even the career. It can make even somebody drop out of school. Some, they go to other alternatives of using hard drugs. We find that they are told if you use this drug, like bag, you will not have the problem. So, counseling is also done in this platform of Anti-Dystonia Local Organization or ADO. And I would like to say this: if you hear of or see someone who has the symptoms that I have mentioned, or someone who is struggling somewhere and you suspect that this person could be having dystonia, it is good that you refer him or her to a health facility where he can see a specialist, especially a neurologist, or you can contact or you advise him to contact us. And I believe and trust God that one day, one time, we shall have a cure for this disease. Thank you.
Kindly remember to subscribe, like, and share this video as we raise awareness about dystonia.